This demonstration is one of English heartwood, or English heart of oak, as it's sometimes called. And I'm using a dark colour, rubbing in a dark colour, and I'm just starting to wipe it. This is the wipe out method, as opposed to the paint on being with a brush, of course. And what this is all about, really, the Heart of Oak, many design you'll see in the real thing, what's clearly evident is there's different shapes and forms, and you've got to create one in your mind, an idea that looks interesting and not too formal or rigid. So I've started there from the base. An idea is to aim for at the top there, as though I'm shaking, as though I'm having a nervous attack, is to accentuate the end shape like it resembles somewhat of a spoon, and the end becomes sharper but ragged. Serrated is the word really I'm looking for. And it comes fine from the start, and then it accentuates, becomes thicker, as you'll see there. And back down again, fine, generally following the shape of the previous figure, wiped out figure. What's important is every time you wipe a piece of figure out, is to move the cloth, adjust the cloth over the veining horn, which is a piece of plastic under the cloth, so as not to put dirty or dark colour back onto the piece that you're wiping out, which will look completely unnatural and spoil the effect. At this point I've decided to put a knot in, so I'm wiping it out in a curved manner. Following the shape as much as possible. Only by inspection of the real timber will you observe that this is how the knot tends to develop or form. And following it round gently, thin, now becoming accentuated again at the head, back down and fine again. And this is a general pattern of working throughout the whole piece. Keeping the grey and white out quite close together. Carefully working round the previous shape and out wide again and back down, narrowing. Now I've decided to start from the other side, wiping out, and in turn you'll see that the two link up together. When I'm wiping out I'm diminishing and working backwards on this one, and the shapes will get less and less to the edge of the board. Becoming thicker at the head and back again, same as the other side, diminishing. I'm now doing what is called piecing it out. So I'm going to make very fine lines on the heads there, both right and left centre, and then I'll link them up by a design which I've chosen to put some wavy line in it, if you will, to make it look more interesting rather than the straight line. And of course, subsequently, the shapes which I've just put in have to be followed like the previous work. Always important to try and keep everything clean, adjusting the cloth as I've said before, so you're not putting colour back onto the panel and dirt in it. You can't always get it spot on or totally wiped out, but as near as possible. So you have a clean centre. Just sharpening up some of the previous figure. I tend to go back on my work and have a look if there's any slight adjustments need to be made. Coming in from thin, piecing it out together. When linking up from one piece of a vein to another, try to avoid a ridge at the joint, which looks unnatural. Try and get it so each line is a continuous piece. Wherever possible. Working from thin to thick now. Really speaking, the pieces I'm wiping out now could have been a bit thicker. In other words, to echo or reflect the central shape, and they should then diminish. A good analogy of this might be to think of a pianist playing a piano, and he plays a chord or a note, and it's loud to start with, but in turn it gradually dissipates or it diminishes down till you can hardly hear it. And this is the same thing with wiping out figured oak. It becomes wider and then thinner, in other words, less and less. This should now get a bit stronger, touch stronger, as I've done there, and then thin down to the other side. I'm just wiping out that colour where the knot's been wiped out, the centre, and then I'll put in darker colour again to suggest the knot formation. I'm now supplementing the side grain by using a comb covered with that piece of same rag, cloth, sweat cloth, and it enables me to speed the process up a bit. And of course all the lines are parallel, therefore echoing the general central shape. And I'll do the same thing with the top. Adjusting the rag, so again repeating not to put colour back onto the panel, and you keep adjusting your comb under your rag. At this point I can see that I've not gone quite close enough to the previous figure in the centre, so I'm just going to work what we call in the trade is working the colour up again, and then I'll just redesign it, reshape it, or redraft it. Again, comb under the cloth. I'm just touching a little bit of the previous figure there. Now continue to wipe out the shapes as I've done with the bottom part. I now take a 1 inch or 25mm fine comb, not too thick, and the idea is to wipe out the comb to serrate it, the figure, more, and wipe it down the centre, outwards to the side by say about 10-15 degrees. Wiping it each time, or almost every time, wipe the comb on the cloth to avoid putting colour back onto your panel, as I've said previously. It's a sort of a raking out process, which you can see clearly on inspection of a piece of the real wood, real oak. Aim for a spoon end, which becomes somewhat spiky. I'm now proceeding to put in the dark colour in the knot. And what I do there, I tilt the paint kettle so I can access some dark, thicker colour at the bottom of the paint kettle and put that into the centre of the knot. And then I'll proceed to put the crack in by wiping out with my thumbnail covered with a cloth on the veining horn. You'll see a slight crack. Inspection of the real thing will reveal the idea of what I put in there.